Hello fellow aviators, VREF Simmer here, and welcome to this Microsoft Flight Simulator 101 video on aircraft preparation and startup. So we're here at Tacoma International Airport, spot 103, and we are in the beautiful Cessna 172 Skyhawk. So we're going to go ahead and step inside. I'm going to show you how to use the built-in checklist in Microsoft Flight Simulator to get you set up. So first thing, you can hold down the right mouse button. It'll let you look around the cockpit, which is really beautifully done here in this simulator. But to get to the checklists, just hold your mouse up here to the top, move over to the check mark, or you can press Shift plus the letter C on your keyboard. And we're going to start with the pre-flight inspection of the cockpit. So what's cool here, you have the different items that you'll go through. Click on the item, and when you've done it, you click tick items. So the first thing, aircraft documents, we'll assume those are checked. Parking brake set. If there's an eyeball symbol like this, it means it's a switch in the cockpit that you can manipulate. So hit the eyeball button, and look, it'll highlight and zoom in to the item. So we need to set the parking brake, so let's click it, and there we go. The parking brake is now set. Next up, ignition to off. It is off, so I'll tick that item. Avionics switch, bus 1 and bus 2 are both off, so we'll tick that. Battery switch, let's turn the battery master switch on, so we have battery power on the aircraft now. And we're going to check the fuel quantity indicators. It's up at 100% like we set it in that first Flight Simulator 101 video. So we'll tick that item. Next, we want to make sure the low fuel left and low fuel right annunciator lights are off, and they are dark, so that's good. Next, let's turn on the avionics bus 1 and bus 2 switches. And we're listening for a cooling fan. I can hear it, so we'll turn the avionics 1 and 2 bus switches off. Static pressure alt source valve, it's right here. It is in the off position when it's in like that. Text the annunciator lights, make sure all the light bulbs are good, so we get any messages we might need in flight about system malfunctions. And the fuel selector valve, it's in both, so we'll be taking fuel from both of the fuel tanks and the wings. We'll make sure the fuel shutoff valve is open, so we'll click that, and now it is open. Flaps, I'm going to put those down, so I'm going to move this switch, take us outside so you can see the flaps coming down. That's what's going on when you manipulate that flap lever. So flaps are now down. Pitot heat, we'll turn it on. And let me show you a way you can see if it's working. So I've turned it on. Look at the ammeter right here. When I turn it off, see how it moves up a little bit when I turn it on, and then down a little bit when I turn it off. So that way we know that the pitot heat is working. So it's now off. We'll turn the battery master switch to off. And elevator trim, which is this wheel right here, we're going to move it to neutral. I'm just going to move it to the arrow right here that you always want it set at for takeoff here in the Cessna 172. So our pre-flight inspection in the cockpit checklist is complete. We'll move on to the before starting engine checklist. So first item, pre-flight inspection. If you want to simulate that, you can go outside the aircraft here, and you can, in essence, walk around the plane by scrolling your mouse around. So in real life, you would walk and check each of the components according to the POH, the Pilot Operating Handbook. But we'll consider that complete. Seat belts or seats and belts adjusted and locked. Electrical equipment is all off. See, all these switches are in the off position. Avionics switch bus 1 and 2 off. You definitely want to have that off before you start. You don't want to cause any problems to your avionics, which are your radios and navigation equipment. Make sure the fuel selector valve is in both. Fuel shutoff valve is open. And before starting engine checklist complete, move on to starting the engine. So first thing we want to do is open the throttle to 1/4 of an inch. Get a little bit of fuel going. As soon as we get the fuel pumps going. Mixture to idle cutoff. So we pull all the way out, and Need to check that. Propeller area clear. And usually you yell clear prop. Move on battery master switch to on. Beacon to on. That lets other aircraft know we're about to start our engine and people on the ground. Mixture to rich. So we'll push it all the way in. If you ever forget, you can see mix, you pull to lean, you push in to make it rich. Auxiliary fuel pump on for 3 to 5 seconds and then off. Another thing, you can watch the fuel flow up here. It's going to go up a little bit when I turn this on. So see 1, 2, 3. We'll turn that off and mixture back to lean. And make sure we have our feet ready to brake. We do. We still have the parking brake on. And ignition to start. So I'm going to go ahead and start the engine here. Looks like we're all clear. I usually use my mouse wheel. And push in the mixture to rich. That'll get the fuel going. And then pull your throttle back to get your RPMs right here under 1,000. Right around in here is good. So go through these items here, make sure it was rich when engine started, and after starting the engine, throttle adjust to 1000 RPM. That's complete. Oil pressure check, so check right here for your oil pressure. Make sure it's in an acceptable range. Alternator to on. And you can see the ammeter there. Got the alternator charging the battery. Avionics switch, bus 1 and bus 2 to on. And look, now our GPS equipment's on, our radios are on, and our transponders coming online. So radios are on, transponder. We're going to switch it to standby, which is right here. Alright. And flaps back up. You can also hit the F5 key on your keyboard to do that. Heading indicator, we want to get that set. You want to check that with the magnetic compass, which is right here. It's showing 230. You just add a 0 to the end of the number you see there, and it should match up here. So that's right at 230 on the heading indicator as well. So we're good to go. If you did need to change that, you can roll your mouse wheel over this tune directional gyro heading. But we're at 230, so perfect. Altimeter set. And how we'll do that is we'll go here to the air traffic control and tune to the ATIS on 118.0. Let's listen.
Seattle Airport information, India 0000 Zulu. Line 253 at tree. Visibility, 9er. Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 14. Dew point, 1 tree. Altimeter 29.902. ILS runway 16 center, ILS runway 16 left, and ILS runway 16 right in use. Landing and departing runway 16 center, runway 16 left, and runway 16 right. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have India.
Alright, so that was the ATIS. You heard the altimeter there. It was 29092. So that's what we have set here. It shows in this window here, but also it'll give you a digital readout as you try to adjust the altimeter calibration knob. So that's set, and the attitude indicator is also set. We're level with the horizon where it should be. So after starting engine, checklist is complete. That concludes how to perform your pre-flight and start up the engine using the built-in checklist in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Thanks for joining me. I'm VREF Simmer. Hope to see you again soon on another flight.